Hey Lobotomy Rail, Vsauce here. After the story of Stario patch 4.3, it was revealed that Himeko is an Imagenae. But is she? I'm going to be honest, I don't think so. This is the biggest red herring to ever exist in Honkai franchise, and it's not even close. While I don't think Himeko is just an Imagenae, I also don't have anything to explain what even is Himeko with evidence to support it. I'm just here to explain my thought process to deny the ongoing narrative of the supposed reveal. What I want to say is going to sound very, and I mean very schizo, but bear with me. I play Stario with Japanese dub and I'm pretty familiar with Ria Tanaka voice range, but I don't think I have ever heard her using this voice before. Is it possible that this is Ria Tanaka voice? Yes, since her voice range is fucking insane. But I think this feels more like a completely different voice actress. And with that, my thought immediately went, why Mihoyo go out of their way to deliberately differentiate between young Himeko and the Navigator if the Navigator is supposed to be Himeko's idealized self? Why don't they just give a direction to voice the same characters but with younger voice? I mean, Ria Tanaka is a veteran voice actress, she can do that. But what does that have anything to do with Himeko is not Imagenae? Well, it doesn't, at least not directly, but it kinda points me toward a certain direction, which is Himeko herself, and a certain fringe theory that comes from 4.0 story by Cat with Blue Hat. Himeko is probably one single character with the most amount of inconsistency going on within her lore and backstory. Her backstory said she majored in interstellar travel dynamics, but we don't see any advanced applied science subject being listed as a teaching subject in Graphia Academy, and not to mention, Graphia Academy is high school, not a college or university. Or another example, she stated that she was indeed a hand thrower and fought against Thug in her younger year, which would presumably be around the same age as young Himeko. But in 4.2 story, it was stated that young Himeko is too sick to even handle the simplest of labor tasks. In the read-only section, when Trailblazer accessing Graphia Academy computer looking for foolish information. There is definitely something sussy going on here. I'm buying the theory of two Himekos, one is human and the other one is not Imagenae, of course, more and more, but it is still a reaching, right? A big effing reach at that. So now it's high time that we talk about what even is an Imagenae. I'm going to read an excerpt from Stario Wiki. Yes, I'm lazy, sue me. Imagenae are creatures which populate the world of plain Arcadia. They are sustained through wish power, a phenomenon on plain Arcadia drawing from a path of elation. Each Imagenae is driven by their internal core, gaining wish power from the phantasmoon or human beings. While their body is composed of discrete matters, study into these core are difficult. So much about how they work remains speculation. Imagenae are sustained through a constant supply of wish power, otherwise they will degrade into wish-bane. The rule about Imagenae is pretty clear and simple, minus all the lore jargon of course. Imagenae sustain themselves by wish power, and wish power can only be found on plain Arcadia. This information goes against everything we know and see with Himeko supposed reveal. I have never played the quest myself, but I have seen the forum talk about the quest that explore the idea of Imagenae outside of plain Arcadia, which I don't know how said quest handle the Imagenae itself. Does it sustain itself through a sheer amount of original wish power for a long time, or does it run out of wish power and has to be returned to plain Arcadia, or they will degrade to wish-bane and losing their existence eventually? If you play that quest, please tell me, or please tell the name of the quest. Granted, there are a way to recover or maintaining wish power, which are the following. 1. Reduce information entropy. Consume information in a measured, selective way. Avoid letting fragmented, meaningless noise dilute your wish power. Obsessing over things beyond your control only weigh down your cognition. Best solution? Cut the network connection and forget there is a world outside Infert Hermitage. Plenty of bliss here. who needs plain Arcadia anyway. As an alternative, spend time in a hotel library, read myth, legend, poetry, work rich with the concentrated imagination of humankind. 2. Maintaining a regular routine. Establish and strictly follow your own daily rituals. Anchor your existence through a repeated, predictable action. Treasure your own ability to choose. Keep the number of decisions you have to make each day to absolute minimum. Should you get up early today? What to eat for lunch? What to eat for dinner? Every moment of hesitation, every trade-off, burns through the precious rich power and free will of an Imagenae. One simple answer can settle most of life troubles. Same as yesterday. 3. Make friends. Cultivating cordial but lasting friendship with the hotel staff and other long-term guests. The human employees stationed at Ingford Hermitage are among few resources of wish power here. If they remember you and regard you as a special guest, you will gain more wish power as a result. You can even try creating small, manageable trouble from time to time. Things that need to be resolved, but with predictable outcome. When necessary, you can even team up with other long-term guests. From the 3 excerpts I just read, there are a few surface-level aspects that is applicable to Himeko characters if she were an Imagenae and trying to sustain herself with wish power or maintaining it. Namely, reading books, making friends, and probably brewing and drinking her black coffee every day. But if we dive into the details, it completely contradicts everything about Himeko. She cannot effort to selectively taking information because she wants to explore the universe. By her own design, she has to take in literally every form of information regardless of what she wants to take that information in or not to lock those information into the trained data bank. She also cannot not obsessing over or thinking things beyond her control either, since she is the de facto leader of Astro Express. She is every Astro Express crew boss. If there were to be a multi-faction meeting that will affect the entire planet, galaxy, or universe, it's on her to attend those meetings, weighing options and things thoroughly. Then there is the reading book. We don't know what kind of book she is reading, as the book name is literally titles. But if we were to going off of her manners and how she conducts herself, I don't think that book is a literature or novel that sparks imagination. I think that book is a scientific or astrophysics textbook. But I'll be fair here. Space, universe, and astrophysics are very fascinating. It is possible that someone might have a lot of imagination upon reading or learning about those subjects. Moving on to this point, she genuinely cannot establish a daily routine due to, again, she is an Astro Express member and a leader. She has to go on an adventure. By that definition, she has to deal with all kind of different bullshit the unknown road ahead throw at her and her crew. And she cannot just keep her decision she makes to a minimum when she is also an active combat personnel for the Astro Express, also potentially running the fates against Lord Ravager. I don't have to explain that in a real combat, she cannot just think and hope to survive or achieve her goals, right? While the Make Friend excerpt seems to be the only logical explanation to how Imagenae Himeko can sustain herself, but we have to remember that this 3 excerpt is written in the context of Imagenae on planet Arcadia, meaning these tips was never written in the absence of wish power such as outside of planet Arcadia. Therefore, the Make Friend excerpt feels more like how to possibly siphon wish power from a human who already has and produced wish power. Then there is another matter of how the navigator come to be if she is an Imagenae. Think about it. She is supposed to be highly knowledgeable about interstellar travel and engineering. But young Himeko herself is just a high school student that want to explore the universe. I don't think Imagenae is that powerful Korean or doesn't have any limitation to the point Imagenae can possess more knowledge or more powerful than the painter from the get-go. Since if that is the case, Graphia wouldn't have lost against Asad. Sure, there are not any information or any readable regarding how powerful or smart the Imagenae can be. But let's assume that the limitation of an Imagenae is either equal or less than the painter upon their creation, with the potential to grow smarter or more powerful as the time goes on. Next is Asad Pramat himself. I want to remind you all who is watching this video that the supposed reveal is nothing more than his speculation. He knows as much as we, the player, do when it comes to Himeko, since he isn't even there for most of her teenager year. Actually, no, most of her life. I would like to start with this particular scene from my actual reasoning.
So, you really are a fake.
Right back at you.
Let's start with the interaction between Asad and Himeko. If you are an English only person, as in only know English, or using English dub, actually, you know what, this should be the criteria. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not here to tell you how to enjoy the media. This interaction would seem like Himeko admit that Asad was right. Right back at you imply both her and Asad fake something. However, if we listen to what actually said in Japanese,
やっぱ偽物か。
this line would translate to, that is my line, denying the idea of her being a fake, while implying the only one who commit identity theft is Asad. This definitely is a stretch, since I don't even know what this line in Chinese dub would directly translate to. But given the similarity between Chinese and Japanese as a language, also add the fact that how this specific line is the most cliche clapback in anime. You know, the very medium that inspired a lot of Miho stuff. Plus, localizing is a thing, and this game definitely has, which tends to skew the meaning toward better understanding for foreign media consumer rather than a direct translation. And right back at you seems to be the localized version of that's my line, since both are very easy to deliver, nonchalant, and cheesy clapback lines. With that in mind, it leads me to believe that the Japanese dub is closer to what is written in Chinese script. Therefore, the one who actually knows what happened to her call a bullshit on Asad's speculation, but this still requires someone who knows Chinese or is a Chinese speaker to translate this line from Chinese. So please, I beg you, help me here! Now, let's circling back to Asad a bit. His sequence is equally interesting before Asad say,
So, you really are a fake.
He seemed to fire some sort of flaming power at her, which looks very similar to what Graphia used in Aesthetic, and even has a rather similar sound effect. And as of 4.3, we now know who raised Graphia and gave the power to her. It was Asad, and she used the power to develop Imagenae to fight against Asad and the entire Matter Legion. Wait, is it the Legion too, or just Asad himself again? So I don't think it is a stretch to assume that Asad saw Imagenae and somehow reverse engineer and adjust it into a power to do some messed up stuff with Imagenae. But even if we don't know what exactly this flame does, we can assume that it has to affect Imagenae in some way or another. But what follows is, it seems to have no effect on Himeko, which would lead to the line, so you really are fake. On its own, it could be interpreted in so many ways, confirming that our Himeko is Imagenae is one of them. But I don't think so. I think this line is more likely means whoever this Himeko is not the same Himeko Asad know when he was LARPing as Ryusuke, because, well, the flaming power has effect on her, so his Imagenae theory doesn't hold up now. Okay, the entire Asad Pramat section is pure speculation, I admit, but it's not just that. Just take a look at the confirmed Imagenae characters I don't know. That would be Hiei and Hibana. I refuse to call her and this bitch by the English name! 久しぶりです、先輩。いつこのミームになりましたか? Shut the fuck up, Shinjin! They both have eidolon depicting their original form, that being a drawing or painting. Hiei being a traditional drawing of a manga characters, while Hibana going full meme with the drawing seemingly is drawn on a Microsoft Paint. But where is that for Himeko's? The close set would be Himeko Nova E6 art, but that is not saying much, as all it has is just the outline of her hair is partially white, with the star and space effect going on with her hair, But we have a character that can just lose their color because of space shenanigans. A bunch of entity that doesn't have physical body but somehow can still interact with the physical world. Also, the world of data that is about to be materialized. My next reasoning is well, it's not directly with him per se, but why he comes to Star Rail in the first place. A lot of you guys probably have heard, welcome to Star Rail to protect Himeko, which is true, but that's not the entire story. There is another reason why he comes to Star Rail. That another reason was Sky People. If you are not Honkai Impact 3rd player or didn't dive your head first into miHoYo works, let me explain Sky People for you. But don't expect much from me since I haven't been playing Honkai Impact 3rd for like... When was the finale of Part 1 coming out again? Oh, that was 3 years ago! And miHoYo themselves didn't even bother to push more APHO content at the time, both in-game and outside media, so I might be wrong here. For a short version, Sky People is a race of spacefaring, energy-devouring being that seems to have their own civilization, or at the very least, advanced enough to become a spacefaring race, and Sky People has specifically targeting Himeko. Welcome to Star Rail to both investigating Sky People and protecting Star Rail Himeko. Now, if Himeko is an Imagenae, it could cause the story to collapse on itself because of too much world building, you know? I mean, think about it. There are countless Imagenae on planet Arcadia. Why targeting her specifically? Why is she more special than other Imagenae, if she really is an Imagenae? And if the reveal comes and she really is an Imagenae, how would they tie that to Sky People? That's an elephant in the room about to charging at them for them to address. And after the release of improv tour trailer, Death of the Elation, I'm starting to believe in the theory of two Himekos more and more. I mean, just look at baby Himeko. She has more resemblance to the current Himeko than teenager Himeko. This cannot be just a stylistic choice, right? But I'll be fair, it could be a 3D model's limitation. And I just remember that miHoYo loves using unreliable narrators. So the player has to do their own work instead of solely relying on whatever has been said by the characters, and the game even neatly set parallel universe up since 4.0. So I don't think it is a stretch for Navigator to be Himeko from a parallel universe. I did said also don't have anything to explain what even is Himeko with evidence to support it in the beginning of the video, but just for fun I would like to weigh in on this. I think our Himeko is a fusion of some kind between young Himeko with the Navigator, be it her parallel universe counterpart or her ideal life self Imagenae. Why is that? Because it has shown that it is possible with Graphia. Graphia by all account should have been dead. Everyone in Planet Arcadia except Hiei thought so due to Weathering Curse, but she is still alive because she fused herself with the canvas she used to steal Ahatopia. So if that happened, no way young Himeko can fuse with the Navigator, either be her from parallel universe or her Imagenae, to remedy or cure her Weathering Curse. But how did she or Graphia achieve any of that? I have no idea. We just have to wait and see the reveal in the next patch. And that's it from me. I hope you have a good time while watching a video made by a crazy man in a tinfoil hat. Like if you liked the video, comment if you think I'm onto something or you think I'm onto nothing. Do not, and I repeat, don't subscribe if you want more of this style of content. I am not a lore or story theory channel. This is just a one-time thing. I'm doing this out of spite. Anyway, I wish you all a good night and a great day ahead of you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye!